guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you all are doing well and staying safe. But for today's video, I want to do something a little bit different. So this was inspired by Rocio. I hope I'm saying her name right. I will have her channel linked down below. But what she does normally is whenever she does palette reviews, she'll do more than one look with them, and I really wanted to do that with this specific palette because it is a bigger palette and I feel like there's so much you can do with it. So we're going to be using the Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson Conspiracy palette, and this is the look that I did today. Here are the shades. I'm sure you've seen them a million times already, and I got this palette. This is the only thing I actually got from the collection. This was the only thing that I was really interested in, and I got this randomly one day. I was scrolling through Instagram and I followed Trend Mood, and I saw that there was a surprise relaunch, or not relaunch, but a mini restock of this, and luckily I was actually able to get my hands on it before it went sold out. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how I got that lucky, but I did. And yeah, so now I have it, and we are going to be doing a couple different shades with these. I'm doing this video before I'm even finished with the full video, so I'm not sure if there's 3 looks or 4. I'm hoping I can do 4 though. Fingers crossed. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the shade Diet Root Beer. And just on a fluffy brush, I'm going to go ahead and tap that shade in the outer corner and then start blending in little circles all in the crease. I'm also going to use the shade Tanacon. I'm just going to build these 2 shades up as much as possible. And I do want just a little bit of my pills in the mix also, so I'm just going to run that underneath here. And then just really quickly before we go any farther, I'm going to go ahead and highlight my brow bone with Ranch. Can you see that? It's like a shimmery white shade, and I'm going to pat that underneath my brow bone. So now I'm going to take the tiniest shade, or the tiniest bit of my right here, just because this black is so intense, and then also mix in with Diet Root Beer. And I want to darken up the crease a little bit. Not too much. Just want the tiniest hint of black in that cut crease, just because I want the edge of the crease to be super clean and dark. That's why I'm adding in just the tiniest bit of the black shade. And I got the tiniest bit of Where's My Ride on a smaller brush, and I'm going to pack that in here. Oh, it's so black. I had the tiniest amount. This black is like the blackest black I've ever come across. And now taking Diet Root Beer, I'm gonna blend that out. So not to cut the crease, I'm gonna take my eye primer on a flat brush, and I'm going to start to carve out the crease, but in the inner corner, instead of going right at the edge of my eye, I kind of want to go a little bit further out like we did on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get these matched up. Now going back in with my Ritus here and Root Beer, I'm going to go ahead and blend out this edge. No, it's not too harsh. Now with those same shades mixed in, I'm going to go along the edge of the line that we just created. So now on a flat brush, I'm going to take that same shade, My Pills, and I'm going to pack that in this crease or eyelid area. And then again, just to blend out this edge. I'm not taking any more shadow on this brush. I'm just going to use whatever is left. Clean it up. Or blend it out, I should say. I initially thought of this look as being a like soft glam look. But to be honest with you, that's just not me. This is about as soft glam as I think I could ever get. I just need a pop of color. So I'm going to take the Jeffree Star Unicorn Blood liquid lipstick and use it as liquid eyeliner. These I know are eye safe, so I'm going to go ahead and do this really quickly and then back. Okay, so far I'm obsessed with the way that this looks. I'm going to go ahead and do most of my face off camera, only because I do recently, I have been using these two as like a bronzing shade on my face, and also I've been mixing My Pills and Pigmented in as blush, so I want to come back on here and show you how those work in that way, and then also we'll finish the rest of the eyes. So be right back. Oh my god, I am so sorry. I didn't know the camera was not recording, and I've done my lower lash line, and I've also bronzed my face, and also my nose, and it wasn't recording, so none of that got on camera. But anyways, just to give you a rundown of what I did, I took the liquid lipstick from Jeffree Star, and on a little brush I ran that in my waterline and then smudged it in between my lashes, and then with the Flaming Hot shade, this red one here, and a little bit of My Pills, I smoked out the bottom lash line of it really quickly, and then I used Tanacon and Diet Root Beer for my bronzer. I just took it on a really big brush and I, bronzed as anyone normally would. And then I also took those two shades and I used it to kind of contour my nose a little bit. Now I'm going to put some underneath my lips. I am so sorry, I'm such an idiot and that didn't record. But it's a good thing I noticed now, because if I didn't, then, what would I have done? What would I have done? I don't know. I would have finished this whole video and I wouldn't even notice that it didn't record, and I'm so upset by it. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna salvage what we can. I'm gonna use the palette for blush also, but before I do blush, I like to add in my faux freckles. So I thought I would just really quickly tell you guys how I do it. So what I do is I use this LA Girl high definition concealer. This is in the shade Chestnut, I think. Yeah, Chestnut. And let me show you really quickly. I just take some. I try to take a little bit, a little amount of it, because it will go a long way. But I take some like on a little flat surface here, and then what I use is a bobby pin. I just opened up the bobby pin, and I'll take either one of the sides and I'll dip it into the product. And then if I have like a blemish that day, then I will go right on top of the blemish. Like I have one here. So I'm just gonna make that into a beauty mark. It's a bit big. And then because it is a cream product, you can also just get your finger and dab them pretty much all over the place. And that's how I do my freckles. I mean, I don't know if anyone cares, if anybody wanted to know this, but if anybody was ever wondering, I am. So I'm going to quickly go through and add these in. Ooh, it's a lot. And dabbing them out too will also fade them a little bit to make them look a bit more natural, while also adding on more, if that makes any sense. It kind of spreads out the product and makes them look a bit more natural and kind of like all over the place. So now I'm just gonna go over them with a little bit of translucent powder. So I'm gonna take a little bit of my Pills and Pigmented. Again, these are shadows, so they are meant to be a lot more pigmented than actual blush is. So you shouldn't need to use too much, even for someone like me who adores blush and does go in pretty heavy-handed. But like, I don't need to use a lot of product to get my desired opacity of my blush. For highlight, I'm actually gonna go back into the palette and highlight my cheekbones with Ranch, because like, why not? It's a pretty shade and I feel like it will work for a highlight for lighter skin tones such as myself.
And I forgot to get an in clip, so here's a really quick one, but we're gonna move on to the second look. I'm gonna first use the shade Food Videos, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply that in the crease out into a wing shape. I honestly thought that this yellow was gonna be a super in-your-face yellow, but it really wasn't. I kind of had to build it up, and even then, I feel like it could have been more opaque, but it is a pretty shade nonetheless. So after that is blended out, I'm going to take some eyeliner on an angled brush, and I'm going to go ahead and sketch out the shape that I'm going to be going for. This would have been a lot easier if I had a gel eyeliner, like in a pot, but I don't have one of those, so I just use what I had available. And the first time I did this look, I didn't use a black base and it kind of came out messy, so I had to redo it. So I would definitely suggest using a some type of black base for the shadow to kind of pop if you're looking to recreate something like this. But once those lines are done, we're just going to connect those dotted lines, and then once the shape is to your liking, you can go ahead and start filling it in. I started in from the wing area with that angled brush. And then what I did was I got took some of the eyeliner and I put it on my finger. I rubbed it on my finger, and then I kind of started dabbing that over the eyelid for a faster, just to speed up the process a little bit, you know. So then once that was done, to fill in the little gaps that were closest to the edge, I just went right in with the pencil, and then with the brush I kind of moved the product around to fill it in a little bit more. And then take an Illuminati on a flat brush. I'm gonna go ahead and start filling in that space that we created. And then once that was done, just with my finger, I'm going to use Sleep Paralysis just a tiny bit in the center of the eyelid. I wanted a little bit more dimension in that center. And then with nothing else on the brush, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of feather it out to blend it in a little bit more. And then to highlight my brow bone, I use the shade Ranch. And then the lower half of the wing that we just created, I'm going to go back in with the smaller brush, and then again with a fluffy brush with Food Videos just to kind of blend that area out to finish lining the wing. And then once my face is done, I'm going to go back in over the to the lower lash line and smoke out Food Videos. And then I do also line my waterline with black eyeliner, and then I use Illuminati and smudge that between my lashes, and I kind of smoke it out just a little bit. And then I go back in with Food Videos just to kind of diffuse the edge just a tiny bit more. And I'm gonna go ahead and apply lashes now. I believe these are in the style Pinot, I think. from Thrifty Lashes. And that is the completed second look. And now moving on to the third look, I'm going to take Not a Fact and I'm going to go ahead and apply that in the outer crease and also work it all the way up to the inner crease. I'm just using patting motions to apply the pigment. It's gonna look splotchy at first and super uneven and not blended out at all, but don't worry, it does get better. So once all of that is applied, I go in with Pigmented and I kind of overlap that on top of Not a Fact, so that way when we blend out, it kind of like blends in together. And then using small circles, I start to blend those two shades out. I'm using this brush right now to add the pigment, and then I do go in with a different brush. This brush here has no product on it. I just use it to help blend out the colors together. And at this point, I'm just basically going back and forth between this brush, which I will not be adding any product to, and then with the brush that we add on the pigment with, just to kind of make sure there's an even blend throughout the whole thing. And I'm just building up Not a Fact as well to get it a bit deeper and darker. And I do use a little bit of My Pills for the edge of Pigmented. And here I think I'm taking a mixture of Not a Fact with a teeny tiny bit of my Rides here, which is a black shade in the palette. And then once that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and make, or do the cut crease. I'm only gonna go about halfway. And then within a little brush, I'm gonna go ahead back in with Not a Fact, and I'm gonna go along the lash line just to deepen that area up a little bit. And then you do also have to blend out that edge of the cut crease where it meets the shadow. And for the lid shade, I'm going to use the shadow Trisha, and I'm just going to take that on a brush and kind of course, place that on that lid area. But I'm not going to worry too much about the edge being super perfect. I kind of wanted it a little bit more diffused where you can still see the different colors, but it's not a super crisp line. And then back in with Not a Fact, I'm just darkening up that lash line area. And then I took a little bit of this glitter gel from e.l.f. And just took some on my finger to pat it on top of the lid. I wanted a little bit of sparkle. Trisha does have a little bit of sparkle to it, but I wanted a little bit more, and the camera does not do it justice because this glitter gel is so beautiful. But for the lower lash line, as you can probably tell, I lined my waterline with white eyeliner. I used Milk jumbo eye pencil from NYX, and then I take Not a Fact with a mixture of Pigmented and I run that along the lash line. I was originally gonna use What's the Tea, which is the baby blue shade in the palette, but I really like that shade and I felt like it needed its own moment, and so we'll use that in the next look. So for now, I just used those shades for the lash line, the lower lash line. And then for the lower inner corner of the lash line, the lower lash line, I took Trisha and I put that down there. And then I took a little bit of my Rides here, again the black shade, and I just watered or tight lined my tear duct area. That's what it's called, a tear duct area. And then after that, I added lashes. These are new lashes. They're in the style Delicate, and they are from Likely Makeup, aka It's Likely Makeup, aka Jordy here on YouTube. She's absolutely adorable. So I just got her new lash book that she came out with, and these are in the style Delicate, and they're so freaking gorgeous. And that is it. That is the second, or not the second, actually the third? Yeah, the third look. Now for this final look, I did something a little bit different with my eye primer that I kind of wanted to show. So I'm taking my Anastasia eye primer that I've been using, and I'm priming not only my top lid, but also the bottom part of my eye, my under eye area. And I am blending that pretty far down my face, so that way when I go in foundation it blends in more. So now I'm taking What's the Tea, and I am gonna go ahead and just apply that all over my eyelid and up into my crease and just smoke it out or blend it out. This shade is a really pretty shade, but you do kind of have to build it up for it to be pretty opaque. But blended out, it is so gorgeous too. It's kind of like a pastel-y blue. But I tried to build it up as much as I could to get it to, like, you know, a good pigment. And then I took a little bit of a mixture of Diet Cola and Just a Theory, and I mixed the two on the back of my hand. And I placed that in my brow, or under my brow bone, and then, or on my brow bone. And then I did also later use that to highlight the inner corner of my eye. And then again, I went over with just a little bit of What's the Tea, just to kind of diffuse it a little bit, because it was a little bit dark. But mixing those two shades together, I was able to use the entire palette for this whole video. So I'm kind of proud of it. I'm proud of myself. Once the tea is blended out, I'm going to go ahead and use the shade Spiraling, and on a little tiny pencil brush, I'm going to feather that from the inner corner and also the outer corner of my eye into the center, just a teeny tiny bit. As you can see, I'm just dabbing the product and then feathering it inwards to where it fades. And then just blending it out a little bit with that same brush that we've been using for What's the Tea. I don't think I have any product on this brush yet. I'm just feathering it out. But on my finger, I'm going to take the shade Conspiracy and just dab that right in the center. Now for my lower lash line, I'm going to take Cheese Dust. And again, as you can tell, I did water my lower lash line with white eyeliner and using cheese dust to smoke out that lower lash line. I didn't get a clip of me applying lashes, my camera stopped recording, but these are in the style Sliced, again from Likely Makeup. And that is the final look. I was able to use a whole entire palette for this video. I am so proud of myself, so thank you.
Alright, so that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed and got some inspiration today during this time of quarantine. Remember to follow my Instagram and also my Twitter that I will have listed down below. And remember to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you already are, thank you from the bottom of my itty bitty quarantine heart. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!